Another PSVR2 kayaking game has made its way over to the platform. I came straight home, bought it and installed it and gave it a go, playing through all of its 5 levels to see what was what. But is it any good? Well, kind of. And should you buy it? The answer to that is maybe. But it's a bit more complicated than just that, so stick around and let's talk about it a bit further in depth. Before we do that though, only 25% of you are subscribed, so that means 75% of you are sitting there not subscribed. What are you doing? Press the subscribe button, please, thank you. Anyway, let's get on to the content you're here for. Today's game has a very shovelware title, which is Whitewater VR Extreme Kayaking Adventure. Comes in around 14 gigabytes, only for the sitting playstyle as well, and takes you through 5 handcrafted environments, with physics-based kayaking a bit like Kayaking VR Mirage, realistic water simulation, a tutorial, free play mode, and 3 levels of time trial race mode. I'm not really one for time trials, I'm more for the free play and exploring and taking in the sights kind of gameplay, and this game does accommodate that to a degree, and it allows you to traverse through lush forests, mountain tops, deep jungles, eastern Iceland, and canyons. These 5 locations are very varied, and take anywhere from around 3 to 6 minutes to complete. All in all, I got through all the levels in under 35 minutes, and this was in the free play mode, meaning there was no time constraint or anything like that. The game comes in at around £16 here in the UK, so that's really not that much content for that much money. However, you can revisit these levels in the time trial mode, in which there are 3 difficulty tiers. So if that's your sort of thing and you like replaying to get a better time and higher score, then you'll find maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of content here, depending on how long it takes you. Okay, let's delve into some technical aspects of the game. Visually, the game runs at 90 Hz unreprojected, so we're off to a good start there. The actual environment, for comparison with another kayaking game, the only kayaking game I can really compare it to, it doesn't look as good as Kayaking VR Mirage. The whole gimmick of that game is it looks fantastic and as nearer to life as possible. That's not the case here. The environments still look good, but you can tell that some of the assets don't really have proper shadows. There is some pop-in.
Okay, these flowers are kind of popping in a bit.
And even visually with the kayak itself, I had my paddle popping in and out of existence occasionally when trying to perform swift turns. So there are some visual issues. The backdrops of the maps are also just, I think, flat 360-degree images, I want to say. They look like real photos, they don't look like art or assets. I could be wrong on that, but my eye tells me, with how flat they look sometimes at certain angles, that's what they are. However, they don't look too naff or gimmicky, and at certain angles, especially with the right lighting and stuff in the foreground to really blend it together, especially in the Arctic level, they can actually look really, really nice.
The background on this one blends pretty well into the actual assets created. Like, I feel the blowout of the white quite well on the HDR display.
On the opposite side to that, once you get a bit closer up and inspect them a little bit further, the image does fall apart a little bit and the illusion drops.
The skybox is a lot more flat feeling, like I can tell that's just like an image. It's got some good depth to it, hello cows. But like you can tell it's not as, it's just like a photo of a place, you know?
I gotta say though, the colours in this game do pop, from the lush greens to the fiery reds of the lava in Iceland. Shout out for this game having Iceland in the game as well. The first time I've seen a VR game take place there, I think, and they do it justice.
But yeah, it does look like Iceland. That's like the colour accuracy, especially in this headset, is really nice there. Awesome.
But yeah, the OLED panels do make these colours pop, so it does look quite nice there. However, the visual issue that I really was running into was that I saw quite a bit of ghosting. Not reprojection ghosting, but what felt like ghosting via the use of frame generation or image upscaling. It's the same sort of blur that I see when using FSR or fluid motion frames on AMD hardware on PC, and you can really see it in some of the clips here with the water, as it just looks blurry and undetailed. I'm assuming this was implemented to keep performance running at 90 unreprojected, which is fair enough, but you will see a substantial amount of this throughout your playtime because the entire game revolves around moving water, fast flowing areas, and big splashes that turn into a bit of a low resolution mess when you really focus on them.
Yeah, like look at the way the frame, like the pixels, kind of, it's like frame generation, it feels like.
So overall visual presentation is a bit of a mixed bag. Some areas I was really wowed by, especially the Iceland level, whereas others felt a bit more like assets put together. And that frame generation upscaly feeling in certain areas doesn't help either. How about the actual kayaking? Well, my frame of reference here is Kayaking VR Mirage, which I feel like slows down a little bit too much. I would like that game to carry speed a bit more, But after playing Whitewater Kayak, Kayak VR Mirage is pretty much perfect in my eyes, because this game does that but tenfold. It's meant to be fairly difficult because you're supposed to reach for those fast times and really get moving, but I found that paddling just wasn't that intuitive. Turning didn't feel that great either, as a lot of the time it felt like I was being flung down the rapids with no control over my kayak at all. And my best chance of turning it in the right direction would be when I come face to face with a rock and smack it to send my kayak flying, because your kayak does have quite a low density and weight in terms of the physics, meaning that if you smack a rock really hard, you can send yourself flying. I ended up finding out that the best method of kayaking was just to kind of pedal my hands as if they were on pedals on a bike.
Okay, I got 9th that time by using my, basically going like this with my controllers is how I got 9th instead of 30th this time. So there's your top tip of the day.
And that actually made me go up in the standings in my times from about 30th position to about 6th position, which is crazy. And doing that actually made me less tired than the method I was intended to use, I think. If you smack your kayak really hard as well, it will go flying left or right depending on what you hit, and will kind of get stuck and act as a sail that will send you into the side of the map. I had that a couple times, which was a bit funny.
Oh my god, okay. Oh my god. What the fuck? What the fuck? That was weird. I just got like launched.
And as I said earlier, my paddle did disappear a couple of times, which is not ideal. When the game really kicks in though, and you're going downhill quite fast through the rapids, and you do actually get into the flow a bit, it can be pretty damn fun. I think with some practice as well, you can probably get the kayaking down to a T and really get some good times in. I just struggled a bit with it. Maybe that's just a me thing until I turned to my age-old pedaling technique with my hands. PSVR2 features like eye tracking used here for dynamic foveated rendering, I'm assuming to help hit that 90 target as well, and haptics are also used to simulate water as you paddle through, which do work pretty well. Overall, it's not as much of a looker as Kayak VR Mirage, of course. I think because this is either a really small team or just one guy as a dev, but they clearly know what they're doing because there were little touches added to the maps from the locations that they're based in that really cemented the fact that the dev knew their stuff about the locations. For example, there's a crash plane in Iceland in the map that can actually be found in an area of Iceland. Granted, it's not by a river like it is in the game, but little touches like that do add a bit of personality and the touch that the dev really cared about the environments that you're going through. Overall, if you're looking for a fast-paced kayaking game, this is probably your best option. It'll give you more content in terms of downhill, rapid kayaking than the Soka Valley DLC on Kayak VR Mirage will give you. But if you're looking for a kayaking game to relax in, this is definitely not the one for you, but they are filling different niches in the market, which I think is really good. I would love to see a little bit of tweaking to the kayaking model and the physics, maybe. It just felt like you lose speed a little bit too much, but I haven't been kayaking in a couple years. I'm assuming the dev knows a bit better than I do about how kayaking actually feels at this point. But just from a player's point of view, it just felt like a lot of the effort I was putting into kayaking wasn't really transferring into movement as much as I wanted it to be. But maybe I was doing things wrong. Who knows?
Okay, I just feel like turning is less intuitive than it is in kayak. I can't say kayak anymore because now there's 2 kayak games. Just fucking okay.
Anyway, thank you all for watching. Are you going to be picking up Whitewater VR Extreme Kayaking Adventure? Please do let me know. Thank you to our patrons and YouTube members: Luke Bentley, Phil Irving, Hazik Mirza, Ace Gamer, Hippie Pickle, Jen 007, A License to Chill, Sun WTF, Fat Controllers, The Game Cat, Andrew Aaron Wright, Jason Parker, Lamar Hall, Geordie Bandsman, Lemon64K, Outcast VR, Prophecy 777, Gundy, Salvador, and David Gephardt. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.